I am now, this broadcast meeting is now being recorded. Again, my name is Stephen Tyrone Cuffey. Refer to me as Tyrone Cuffey on Facebook. But I know that I've done many broadcasts, but we're not talking about broadcasts so much here. Actually, this isn't a broadcast form, but it's in a Zoom video format. Okay? All right, now, folks. Actually, what I'm going to talk about is interesting enough that it was just discussed in our Sinbad meeting. And it's about this New World Order, One World Government. Okay? Now, I know a lot of you all y'all go to the blog. At least I can speak of this group. I know a lot of you all each day go to our blog. And the great thing about our blog, you can change it into your language. That's the great thing about our blog. You can change it into so many different languages, and I'm sure a lot of y'all seen the blog in your language. Now, regarding the videos, I'm not so sure the videos are necessarily in your language, but you can at least see, you can figure out what's going on when you watch the video. Now, in the Sinbad meeting that Randy just went over, he's talked about this New World Order, One World Government. And folks, if you close your eyes and keep, you have this, you hear people talking sometimes, people keep their eyes closed, but yet they're open. Meaning they don't listen, they don't see what's going on around them. But folks, I'm a person that I don't even watch the news every day anymore because there's so much bad stuff out there. It's just everything that's on the news out there, at least the national news here in my country, is all about the elite and what the elite is doing to so many people here in the United States and also around the world. But when I saw that, I'm going to tell you something to you all. When I saw that blog post about this New World Order, One World Government, I say, oh my goodness. This is what, and I know Randy got some, and a lot of you got some things. This discussion is going to come. I know it's going to come because y'all got your opinions on this. But if that blog post wasn't right on time, and also the video, now there are many videos on this same thing, not just the ones you saw in the blog post, in the blog. There are many blog posts and also content and videos out there on the internet. But what was posted was right on. Now, let's talk about this a little bit. Now, I know that depending on where you're located in the world, you may see things a little different in terms of how your government is structured. But that elite is always above you, isn't it? It's always above you. And we're just our little selves, or who we are, trying to make it day by day by day. But we talk about the elite. We talk about what we have presently. And for some reason, we have some people out there that thinking that it can't affect me. I'm not worried about it, whatever. Now, I'm not sitting back and worrying about anything like this, okay? But you have to make sure you know. One thing I love, and I'm gonna say this about the blog. One thing I love about the blog is that admin always puts some interesting videos about current events around the world that very well is affecting us. Maybe not always directly, but indirectly. And so what I'm saying is, I'm gonna stop right now because I don't want to just ramble on this because I want to hear other people take on that blog post when y'all went over it. And I'm sure by now you probably went over that blog post and saw that the video that Randy was talking about in the Sinbad meeting just now. You know, this transhuman, this whole thing of just changing. Imagine getting something stamped on your arm to identify you or connected to computers. Humans. The violence that could also happen. When I saw the violence in this video, it reminded me of back in the early 60s when I was a little boy, when I saw, you know, a lot of prejudice and going on in the streets here in the United States. People getting beaten, people getting killed on the streets right before your eyes on the news. Some of the same things was in that video I saw back when I was a little boy. Not in person, but on the TV. So what I want to do now, I'm gonna just call out some names right now. Hey Randy, will you come in for a moment, brother? You know, I know you spoke about this in the Sinbad meeting.
I think this topic is so important because of the nature in which the truth comes at us. The truth comes at us in the midst of our own preoccupation. You know, we are, like Stephen said, we are concerned about other things. You know, we are living with our free will. You know, we're born and we gain a love of our friends, our family. We gain a love of our community, our neighborhoods, you know, people around us and things like that. You know, we seek out simple things like how do we financially take care of our responsibilities, our family? How do we contribute to the next generation? You know, we do all these kind of things, sort of living, we're trying to gain sort of a bliss, you know, a bliss. Just, you know, hey, I just want to, you know, I just want to live my life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then we become aware that there's all these things that come out, the truth. Oftentimes we find out that our whole belief system is all just one mechanism of control. You know, oftentimes, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the video, The Story of Our Enslavement, but all of a sudden you realize the whole freaking thing is just all one big control. You know, it's a one big sham. And but I think it's important that we understand what's real and what isn't real. And when it comes to this transhumanism thing, it's gonna get us, guys. It's gonna get us, because while we are just living our lives, watching TV, watching movies, enjoying our cell phones and computers, and we just think, oh, just technology is going forward, right? Oh, it's just, you know, this is just the way it goes. You know, we're just living our lives, just enjoying this technology, mobile devices, computers, our cars. You know, oh yeah, I'll just plug my brain right into the computer. Oh yeah, that's normal, right?
Randy, hold on just a moment. Hold on a minute, sir. I'm gonna mute everybody, then I'm gonna have you come back in. Hold on a minute, because I hear some interference.
Okay.
Okay, Randy, you can unmute yourself, just Randy. Okay, there you go.
So my point is that this transhumanism thing we have to be careful of, because if you look around now, you guys know, I meant to say this in the meeting today, but you guys probably know by now that I don't use a cell phone anymore. I had to withdraw from using cell phones. This is just I don't mean to dominate here, but I just want to let you guys know. I don't use a cell phone anymore because the radiation from the phone is starting to give me headaches and give me pains in my hands, and I get tingles and all this kind of stuff. I am a victim of what they call electro pollution. Okay, so my whole house, I don't have Wi-Fi in my house anymore. I have all my computers and stuff are all wired now. We have 4 computers, 3 TVs, and 4 cell phones. We have no Wi-Fi. All of our computers are wired. We have what they call Ethernet. We don't have Wi-Fi in my house. This, my friends, becomes a reaction to this, what we call technology advancing. Oh, Wi-Fi. Oh, just cell phones. I had 2 cell phones. Oh yeah, I'll just put one on this side of my head, one on this side of my head. Never mind the radiation, never mind, all of the exposure to the electro pollution, never mind all that. But meanwhile, me personally, and I'm assuming that a lot of people have the same issue, but they don't really know it, we are starting to have adverse reactions to the exposure to the electromagnetic radiation that's coming from these devices. So watch this, guys. This is what's going to get us. This is what's going to get us. We are going to move forward with technology because in plain sight, everything just looks normal. Oh, phone, computer, Wi-Fi, plug in. Oh yeah, just plug right from your brain right in to the computer. Just plug right in. I mean, that's normal. And our children, the children have to be, keep them quiet. Oh yeah, just plug them right in, just virtual reality, just plug it right into their face and just put a helmet over their head where they're just, computer is just right in their face. That's what we're moving to. That's transhumanism in its beginning stages. We're so attached to this technology that we don't even recognize what's happening anymore. You walk down the street and you don't even see anybody without a phone attached. They're just like this. Everybody. I went to a wedding on Friday and a 50th birthday party on Saturday. Sitting around the table, everyone's like this with their phones. What the hell, man? What the hell is going on? Transhumanism, guys, is going to get us. Now, let me just finish with this, Steve. Here's what I believe is going to happen. Technology, the way we think it's progressing, I think is not. I think we're actually something's going to change. Because I am one of the few people that I know that is admittedly having some problems, reactions to cell phone technologies and stuff like that. But I think it's going to happen to a lot of people. I believe it's part of the depopulation agenda to get us so attached to these mobile devices and stuff and 5G that we're going to be so attached that even though, and I hate to say this, but some people are going to be worse than me. Some people, I believe, are going to drop dead. I believe this. They're already talking about 5G is going to adversely affect people, like, deathly affect them. And I think that we're going to have sort of a halt in some of this mobile technology because it's going to become apparent that this technology was harmful all along, and yet these companies didn't take the necessary precautions to stop using it, but instead, for the greed, they kept on moving forward. And you just got to be aware of these kind of things, guys. You just can't blindly take on all of this technology thinking it doesn't have any effect on you. And this is where this transhumanism is going. Just plug right in. Just plug right into it, right from your brain, right into the computer. For what? Why? What advancement do we need to take advantage of that requires us to literally give up our free will and plug right into the computer to become servants of the computer? Not the computer being servants of us, but we become servants to the computer. That's my thoughts on that.
I remember, it goes back when I was little, but I remember seeing someone on TV to this fact that computers will actually take over our population in terms of even the workplace. Well, guess what, folks? It's already here. It's already here. Now, don't get me wrong. We're not saying that computers is a bad thing. We're just saying that we got to be cognizant of what it's doing. Let me go back to just the cell phones, and then I'm going to come back to something else. This is my issue. This is my personal, this is me. And I'm sure some people are going to be able to relate to this when I say it. And I'm going to talk about the young people here, because it's mainly people younger than us. Would y'all agree that the young people, the socialization is broken down, the communication is broken down because they are texting more than they are talking on the phone? Can anybody relate to that? When y'all go in any country you're in, watch young people around you and see how they communicate. If they got, like Randy said, he goes somewhere and they all down to their phone. They're texting and they're not talking. So what is broken down, the socialization process is breaking down constantly. I believe, and that, call me old timey, whatever. I believe you talk to people, you see people, you communicate. Back in the day, we didn't have cell phones, we had pagers. Then before that, people overseas, what about writing that letter? Sending that letter through the mail? We've moved so fast, so swift into another age, not realizing that it's all controlled by what? The elite.
Stephen, if I can add
to
that,
go ahead.
I'm raising two teenage boys. I have a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both they're about to be 18 and 20.
Wow.
There's things that I recognize about my young boys, and I love them to death, but they they got cell phones. When I look back on it, it might have been early, but actually they were late compared to a lot of people around me. A lot of people were giving their kids cell phones when they were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Our kids didn't get cell phones until they were 12, 13, 14 years old.
Me too.
And they really thought they were late. All of our friends have them already, right? One thing I noticed, I remember, and I'm sure all of us can remember this too, we used to get in trouble with our parents for talking on the phone. And early on in the cell phone revolution, when we start giving kids our cell phones, they would talk on the cell phone, and we'd be like, give me the cell phone, you're talking all the time on the cell phone. But now they don't talk on cell phones. As a matter of fact, do we call them cell phones anymore? Because they don't really talk on them anymore. They just text on them. Mm-hmm. Now, this is an amazing thing that's taking place. Because kids, think about being on a cell phone. You're in your own little world. You're not concerned about what's going on around you. You're just right here on your own little screen that's a couple of inches long, big, and you're just texting and communicating through this little screen. You're oblivious to what's going on around you. Now think about that. When kids today spend so much time in their own little world, oblivious to everything around them. Think about that. Mm-hmm. Think about being oblivious to everything around you for the most part of your day, every day. And that's kids today. Mm-hmm. So how does that translate into society? Well, nowadays we have kids that don't know how to sort of engage with adults. I send my kids into the store and say, go ask that man if he can, huh? You want me to go talk to that? Hey, we go to the flea market. hey son, go ask him if he'll give you a better price. You want me to go talk to that guy? Yeah, go talk to him. Kids, and they're beautiful kids. They're very smart and intelligent. But they struggle with going out and talking to people, right? Here's the last thing. Kids today in the Western civilization, the US, kids don't drive. They don't have the desire to want to drive like they used to. When me, on my 16th birthday, boom, license, driving down the street. You can't tell me nothing. My kids, 17, 18 years old, what do I do? It's because they've lost that desire to want to get out into the world and be social like you and I did. Mm-hmm. They are happy with being in their little world that's a couple of inches, of a screen. They can just communicate there. Now, here's the other thing. Last thing. In driving, I see that people who are texting on their phone while they're driving, and kids, because they're so used to being in their own little world, in their own little screen, that they forget this concept called courtesy. You remember courtesy? Mm-hmm. Courtesy is when you're aware of other people around you and that you allow them sort of the right of way, and you're considerate of other people around you in a car, driving, walking, pedestrians, so on and so forth. Kids today, and even adults, they've lost this whole idea of courtesy because they spend so much time in their own little world focusing on oblivious to everyone and everything around them, that courtesy has gone out the window. Because who's concerned about other people when you got your whole world happening in your little space of a couple of inches? So this technology thing is affecting us in a weird way. Oftentimes I see near accidents happening on the streets, and I live in a very populated area of California. So I see a lot of near miss accidents because people, they just forget to kind of consider that there might be someone else on the road. Mm-hmm. So these are the kind of things that are happening here, guys, thanks to this technology.
Yeah, I that's the reason why I'm opening this up for, and other people can give their viewpoints on things we're talking about. Because in our blog, admin gives us this thing about this whole thing about this new world government. This one world government, new world order, one world government. And it's so many things happening in this whole process. It was so much discussion about it in this particular blog. So many things was happening in that video. And what I'm saying here, if our minds and our eyes and our ears are all semi-closed, perhaps, then I'm afraid that there's gonna be a lot of us they can just consume us, just gobble us all up and control us. Now, what do we have? What we all can agree upon, that here in the Billion Coin, we must stay unified. With the big U, we have to stay unified, folks. Because my vision of when we get to 1 billion members, oh my God. And I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when. It would be a grand day for all of us, and how much impact we could have over other people. But I said yesterday in my broadcast, we don't have to wait till we get to 1 billion members to help people in poverty, who are poor, who are needy for things like food, water, medicine. We can affect people right now. Whether y'all realize it or not, I know that a lot of you, maybe right here in this live, right here in this broadcast where we're doing a Zoom meeting, doing a broadcasters meeting, I know that a lot of you have, some of you even have a skill that may affect people, already affected people in your family, but may also affect people out and abroad. And so what we got to get our people and your teams and people out there to help more people, because while all this is going on around us, we still can be having impact on people out there. And while we're doing that, quite naturally, we're bringing people into our community, but we can get out and help people. Maybe something that you don't really, if you really, you know one thing, I bet you if you go around your house, you could probably find some things you don't really even need, that you, but yet it could be something very vital for someone else. When Randy was talking about the cell phones, that is so true about people. There's some people out there that's having the same effect. Here in the United States, then to some unfortunate things, that they're rolling out this 5G in the first quarter this year in certain parts of the major cities in the United States, like Chicago and Atlanta, and I hate to say it, Randy, California. They have where Randy is they have a thing called Silicon Valley. You know, some of the highest, the greatest minds you ever want to see is in that, confined in that little area, in that area. And you know, I'm not saying who they are. I'm not saying they are. Some of them are subsidiaries of the elite, of the elite. You know, I don't know. I'm just saying there's so much going on, and if people don't open their eyes and listen and open their ears to what's happening, please don't just rely on admin to put these things in the blog, folks. Please don't do that. Tell your people out there, don't just wait for everything to come on the blog for you to say, oh, I didn't know that was happening. With the power of the internet and what we have, we have internet even on our phones. You know, we got everything on the phones, but even on your computer, there's so much information out there, and of course you can use your TV too in your country. But again, we have a solution right here, right now, in the Billion Coin, but it's going to take us staying unified. It's going to take us saying the right things, as I said before in broadcasters meetings, saying the right things in your broadcast that will impact people such that they will take action. I get a lot of people giving me good points on my broadcast. And guess what, folks? I don't even think I'm doing that great of a job, actually. I think I could be doing a hell of a lot better. You know, but we got some people that really are doing a great job in their broadcast. The Bangladesh community, excellent. The Indian oh my God, when I think of Batan Kumar, what he's doing over there in India, oh my God, incredible. But when I go back, when I started this broadcast meeting, I was talking about that particular blog post. So what I want about this new, this one world government. So what I like to do right now, Christina, may I pick on you for a minute? Could you come in? I know you've probably seen that blog post by now, and I know you probably got some feelings about it. Anything at all you would like to offer our broadcasters, and your take on what you saw, what you felt when you read it, and when you watched the video. I know you've done this by now, so what do you think?
I did a video in it, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
I did a video in my last video. I think I did in that. It was shocking, and it not shocking to me, but to have seen it there in the blog, and for all of us to see it, it's so. What's the word for that? It's like like we're gonna go soon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how you feel, like
Mm-hmm.
it's
It's almost like you got to just throw your hands up, like,
yeah, yeah,
what can we do, right?
yeah. And I was quite I was so passionate about it. I was talking about it and ranting about it, not even talking, ranting. Let's do something about this. Yeah, it's amazing how these things can hit you right in the face, and it's right in front of you, like in plain sight, hidden in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
And in that video, I was talking about a movie that I've seen a few days before. It called Seven Sisters, and that was shocking to me too.
Mm-hmm.
When I watch violent movie like that, it's
Mm-hmm.
about control and controlling the population,
Mm-hmm.
and that it leads right into that. They actually, I'm not going to tell you. Just watch it. Seven Sisters, number seven and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's. I spoke about that. It's amazing.
It is. It is. Well, thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you.
Sure. Mr. Reyes, are you there, sir? Reyes? Reyes, are you there, sir? Okay, maybe he's not there. Okay, Mr. Mufa. Mr. Mufa. Man, Mr. Intelligent Man, Mr. Mufa.
Hello to the whole community. Are you getting me right there?
Yes, hear you very well.
Okay. Okay. It has been for a while that I'm not sure of, just that I'm trying to handle one or two things to make things work out more better than before. Because I needed to relocate because the internet connection, the place I have was not really doing out well. But to that particular blog post you're talking about, I make one video on it, and my live broadcast, I really was touched because, this world in which we are today, it was in some sort of it's in some sort of stages. It is only this internet advent that has made us to be at the same pace, because there are certain things that would have reached us maybe later or maybe years before or years after. But with this internet advent, we are speaking at the same pace, and that is why I will say that word. Only the information that the blog is putting to us, most people at times don't have the mindset to really connect directly to that message, because what, the state of the mind is not yet well ordered, because we are being controlled in such a way that we don't even know that we are controlled. Because when with the information that has been put through tell us that not going out protesting is giving your consent, meaning that what, they know already that putting forth this type of information to us, we are going to react like this, since most of the time we do say, what does it have to do? With us back in Africa, we say, what do I gain with it? What does it have to do with me? I care to the least. Not knowing that your today, your tomorrow, and your future is already well structured and organized, until you are just uploading and putting back the realities of everything that has been planned for you. You have no reality or no will to live what you want to live. But everything that you do, it has already been preset and arranged until you're just responding to what they want you to respond to. So this is really an eye-opening for us to share information in an international standard, with each and everyone being in alignment with one and the same information, and making people to be really reawakened and align themselves to the reality of where the world is running through to. Like the news, as you're saying, we are not more really watching the news. I also am really basically focused. Like what they are saying, the third war is going to pop out from Venezuela, and the different entanglement with the U.S. government and the Russian and all whatnot. You're seeing that one know his position now, and you are not less interested in things that you know that this is really the plans of the elite. So what we should do and what we are crying out to each and every one of the community and to those that we are talking to is for them to reawaken their mind and come to the consciousness that what if you do not participate in order to stand against some of these things, they will take you unaware and they will put you in without you even having an understanding of what you're getting to. Randy put it very right with the 5G and its reality. It's really having an enormous impact on the lives of citizens and on the lives of humans in general. But most people don't know. They're so how can I put it, so happy for them to change from one technology to another that is had the freak alarm and all the like, not knowing is their hurt that is being upper day in, day out. So what I will conclude with is that the realities of the 21st centuries and as we move along in this fast changing technology phase is for us to know what is suitable for us, and we are in the right page with admin and the TBC community, and let's keep on just be doing that. And I believe as many are getting the information, they are learning, they are relearning and unlearning what they need, and they are adapting themselves to the realities and aligning themselves to the right world, which is the one that we willingly choose to be part and parcel of. So that is what I can contribute to this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Right on. You're right on point. You know, it's something that I want to bring up before during this time, and I know Randy, you talked also about it in the Sinbun meeting. This financial reset, what that would seem like, folks. This is just what I believe what was said in the blog post could really happen. Mm-hmm. You know, our fiat system is, you know, is not doing great around the world.
Yeah.
You know, and people that don't know what fiat is, we're talking about paper money, like in our U.S., our dollar, in the Philippines is pesos.
Yeah, we have our franc CFA.
Right. I think in Nigeria, I think they call it naira. I think it is
naira.
You know, well, you know, some of the great people out there, investors, would say invest in precious metals like gold, you know, which is a great thing. But this is the thing. When that happens, when that reset happens, and and I don't know if you all watch, I'm always watching his videos. Jeff Berwick, anybody, that name sound familiar? Some of you all? Oh, yeah. Some of the videos you see on the blog. Now, before they even started putting on the blog, I've been following that guy for the last 2 years.
Wow. You know, he has a lot of information. You know,
I'm just telling you, Randy, I believe you went to a thing that they're going to have in Acapulco. You went last year, didn't you? You know, and I think that's, well, I won't be there this year, but next year I got to be there. I got to be there.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say this to you all. The thing that's scary for me is that is a prime time for the elite to make their move. You know, because think about this now. Is it most things around the world are controlled by a monetary system? Think about what I'm saying now. Everything just shifts. Everything financial shifts. We talk about this thing called cryptocurrency. Folks, it's not going away. It's not going away. And I'm just saying to you, when we make a shift, because we're making a shift right before your eyes, it's already starting on maybe a smaller scale, but keep your eyes open, because the elite can make their move. And we got to hope that we never get to this one world government, because isn't it the elite who has most of the financial? They got the financial, they got the money. So, and I'm not just talking about here in the United States, folks. I'm talking about in Europe, maybe parts of Africa, parts of everywhere around the world. That is a prime time for the elite to make their move, to gain more, what's the word I'm trying to use? To gain more of us, to bring more of us down. You know, here in the United States, it was a time when, Randy probably would know this, it was a time when he used to say there was an upper class, middle class, and lower class. I'm not sure there isn't any more middle class. I hardly hear anybody even talk about that, but I don't think it's even no more middle class. Randy, you want to chime on that one? You know something about that.
Well, when you look at the class system, you start looking at what is wealth. When you look at the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class, it used to mean the wealthy, and then it used to mean the people that work, and kind of like, sort of the middle of the road, and then there was the lower class, which was sort of people maybe that had food stamps, needed government assistance, these kind of things, right? I mean, I grew up in the lower class, all right? We needed government assistance, food stamps. We needed, we used to go to the church and get bags of food. We did all that stuff. Government cheese. I don't know if you guys have that in Africa, but here in the U.S., we got government cheese. You guys don't have that. Anyways, bottom line is that the definitions used to be clear. The middle class used to represent a group of people that were, made a significant amount of income and maintain sort of an upper class lifestyle. Maybe they weren't the rich, but they could maintain an upper class lifestyle. That was the middle class. Well, the banking system has completely obliterated banking system, credit and debt, taxes, is obliterating the middle class, because the middle class now is all about the class of people that are just maintaining debt. That's what middle class is now. So you're really not middle class anymore. You just, you have the cars, the houses, the neighborhood, live in the right neighborhoods and stuff like that, but everything is built on debt. You're in debt with your house, you're in debt with your cars, you're in debt with your credit cards, you're in debt with your children's schools, so you're just one big pile of debt. That's the middle class. So when they say we're eliminating the middle class, what that means is people are in so much debt to maintain this middle of the road lifestyle that they are literally maybe just one paycheck away from completely falling, the whole house of cards coming down. And when they lose their jobs or whatever, they become low, they need government assistance right away. The middle class, we're talking about people that don't have savings, don't have investments, or they're heavily invested in equities, which the equities market is a big bubble too. So what used to be this group of people, the middle class, which meant that maybe they weren't rich, but they were the productive people. They were the ones that made the wheels turn. Now the middle class is just people filled with debt, needing government assistance, and literally one paycheck away, living hand to mouth, living paycheck to paycheck, and without at least even one paycheck, and they could be in the poorhouse. That's what we mean by the middle class is starting to leave us because they're no longer ahead. They're all living behind too. They're in debt to maintain this image of middle class. And we're losing that here in America. So
I remember a time when back in the day when people had this one job, but now people have two, maybe three, just trying to maintain. So their head is not above water, so to speak. So, folks, when this happens, are you going to be ready? Are you going to be ready? Folks, we got a great thing here in the Billion Coin. Greater than sometimes we even think, perhaps. But we have to stay together on this one, because with 1 billion people around the world, and within all these different cultures and languages, no one can tell me that can impact the world in such a way where the quote elite will have to have their eyes on us. We are in a private community, building our own economy, I think it's a great thing we have here. And I just hope that we all just stick together. And along the way, remember, if people come up to you and say things that may not be so kind regarding the Billion Coin, don't get an attitude, folks. Don't get upset. I know you hold, some of you hold TBC close to your heart, but don't get upset about it. Just say, thank you for your time. God bless you. And that's the end of the conversation. Be cordial to people, even though they may attack you on what you have in your hands, being TBC. Let your team know this is the way you should be handling this. And for those, like I said, for those that's coming in later, this is getting recorded. I will post it later on in the broadcasters chat area. And for those that's not in the broadcasters chat area, when I have it on a YouTube link, I can send it to you if you message me. But we could talk all day about this one world government, how it affects us. We could talk about this. This is a big, big subject, but we can't do it all in one broadcast. I just ask you all some of you may have to go back and read the content, read it again, watch the videos again, and make sure you tell people in your broadcast and other broadcasters, for those that's not here, that's our broadcasters, if there are some people like, say, for example, in the Bangladesh community that's not here because they may have a little language barrier in terms of understand English, speak it in their language. Let them know that they need to go over that broadcast again. I mean, that content in that blog, to, if they're having any difficulty understanding, explain it to them about what this is happening, what could happen if we don't stick together and unify. Is there anybody else want to come in before we close today? Anybody at all?
Yes, Stephen.
Yes. Oh my God, there he is. I was hoping. It's so great to hear from you, Mr. Lawrence Butana.
But I know you're not gonna point me anyway. That is why I just came in like that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Good to see you, and compliments of the new season. Mr. Wilson, I've heard that you are no longer reachable because you are on Ethernet now. But I'm gonna have to arrange that in order to reach you whenever I want. It's raining here, there's lightning and thunders, but I hope everyone can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. What we should ask ourselves now, we had some experiences last year, meaning previous year, 2018. We can relate so many things. Another question that we should ask ourselves is that, are we still going to engage ourselves into things that did not help this community previous year? Or are we going to implement new things in order to bring a change into this community? That's the first question. And the second question is it really, how can I put it? Let me use this a simple explanation. Are we all here also in the Send Buttons meeting? Are we in this mission together, or we are just here to buy time to show already that no, I was there, he's my friend, we laugh? And is this a social gathering, or is this all about a mission that is destined to end poverty globally at once? Because when you look at the figures, meaning the membership number, it is not moving the way it's supposed to. I'm not going to go deeper into that because we have already explained 4 different graphs. The red one, I'm still on that one. And people are not actually doing anything on the red graph, which is the 4th one, far on the right. They are busy on the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd. Now, is it because some of our leaders don't get it? They don't understand what is to be done, or what is it exactly? We need to find out and iron out those key areas so that we can move forward. And once we've ironed out those areas, we will immediately see a change on the membership growth. Because by now, we should be, say, plus minus 5 million plus, if I'm not mistaken, according to the calculations and the projections that we did previous year. Right. Last part one, when we join other live stream broadcasts, we see the same number, same faces. We don't see any change. You know, there is no flexibility. Something is not right, and we are ignorant about it. We are not saying anything about it. Let's just leave admin. When I say let us leave admin for now, I'm saying let us stop blaming admin for now and follow admin's guide and see exactly what will happen. We don't have to try and change the way things have been outlined, because as soon as we do that, we mentioned that the system will punish us at the end of the day. But only few, 7% out of 3.3 million, it's doing that. And it's a burden, because to end poverty globally, it's a very huge task, guys. And this is not a social gathering. This is something that is completely different in the history of mankind, if I may put it that way. So now, lastly, what exactly are we saying, and where are we heading? Are we certain that this year we will reach 1 billion, or we still need another time, 5-10 years? I don't know. What do you say, guys? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Randy, you were gonna say something?
I was gonna say that Lawrence is right. I mean, you know, when we look at the growing, the rate of growth of the community, we certainly see numbers that aren't moving as fast as we would you know, we could imagine that they would move. I mean, you know, admin said it in the blog today, you know, take it personally. You should take it personally. But I think this is all just a testament to what we're talking about. I mean, the fact is that the government has done, the governments, or should I say governments, whether that means the government or that means other forms of ruling class. A lot of times it's not government. It's the corporations, media, you know, all of these guys are governments. They govern us. The fact is that they have done a much better job than we could possibly imagine. I mean, the fact is that they've fixed the whole world. I mean, we are trying to scrounge up 1 billion people out of 7 billion. Scrounge up a billion, and it's a very daunting task. It's difficult. You know, I can't even imagine the difference in mindset, lifestyle, resources. You know, the fact that just a handful of us have come together and said, yes, we're awakened. But, you know, we're talking about the multitudes out there. So, yes, I think it's definitely something to be observed, that the billion coin, the inspiration that we've used to grow is not as attractive as the same inspiration that continues to proliferate the problem, greed, you know. Now, if we were a greed-based system, hey, we could get everybody. But because we are an elevated system, one that takes thought and thinking and collaboration and harmony, gosh, that seems to be you know, that takes a lot longer to accomplish. I don't know why, but that's just the way that goes. But I think what Lawrence is saying is that, yeah, you know, if we look at things, yeah, we're not growing as fast as we like, but I think we should also recognize that, yeah, that's the whole, you know, that's the problem we've been dealing with in this world, is that people, you know, unfortunately are you know, distant, psychologically distant from the solution of TBC. It's just the way that goes, you know. That's what we're fighting against. This thing that we're doing in TBC might take a little while because we got a lot of people to awaken, you know. So, you know, that's what I have to say.
It was, you know, you made some very great points, Lawrence. I love what you were talking about, because I've said this in my broadcast, and I'm gonna say this. If any one of us here or any TBC member think that getting to 1 billion members is an easy feat, it is humongous. It's huge. 1 billion. Think about that for a minute. That's a lot of people, folks. That's a lot of people. 3.3 that you see in your CurriculCast back office is minuscule. It's small compared to 1 billion. Folks, I believe, this is just my belief, and y'all can, I'm sure a lot of y'all can agree with me this on. When we follow all the tools in place in your CurriculCast back office and on the blog, I say it almost every day in my broadcast. The rapid reward system, the 23, I guess, was Randy and I, maybe we were still first start, we weren't even calling it 23 cash flow system, or we were just saying cash flow system. The 23 steps of the cash flow system. Are we involved in the 3 campaigns? Well, I can think of some people that's involved, that's doing some great things. M.A. Derrick, he got a whole center, packed house, back to the wall. He's doing a great job. And merchants. Pratam Kumar, I'm thinking about the Bangladesh community. Oh my God, look what they're doing. You know, they got people like Mr. Sharif. He's over 100 broadcasts, and he's pouring his heart out each and every day. Some people here are doing some great things, but it's going to take a lot of us, more than just us. You know, I thought in my mind, something to gather people up would be one way we do it is that we know we have these broadcasters meetings after in English. Now we know that it make one reason it may not have as many is because it may be a language barrier going on. It could be people at work and at jobs or whatever. But I believe that is the Bangladesh community that have a Zoom meeting after theirs. After there, I know Miznor does it for them. Now I imagine that Zoom meeting is based on the same kind of issues, gathering them up to make sure that they're all in one line together. You know? But I was thinking all the other Sinbun meetings, maybe they could have their own broadcasters meeting after the meeting or whenever they want to have it. As long as we continue to gather up, I don't believe it's just a social gathering. I believe that we have a goal to learn, to achieve what we're supposed to achieve here in the Billion Coin, making sure that we are unified, that we are speaking the same things, because folks, admin has identified us as the leaders in the community. Admin has identified us as the voices of the Billion Coin. If you are a broadcaster, you are a voice of this community that we are building. And I commend each and every one that's here today that's a broadcaster and the fine work you're doing. When I think of someone like Crypto Magic, you know, I subscribe to Crypto Magic's YouTube. This person does a fine job in the country of, I believe, the Philippines. Probably one of the first, and maybe not one of the first that even started doing broadcasts, you know? I think about everyone that's doing a great job. So I commend all the people that's doing a great job. We just got to make sure this meeting is designed to help us learn some things that can help our teams, and also to have a discussion so I can hear from other people what they feel, because it's not designed for us, myself or Randy, to just give feedback, just talk the whole time without hearing from you all, because what you all say is so important to each and every one of us. We may learn something from Mr. Shohag. We may learn something from ATM Irene. We may learn something from Jocelyn or Musa or Mike or Mr. Scott Thorne or Christina. I could just name all of you. You know, we can also learn something good from each one of us. And today I'm happy to see some faces that I hadn't seen in a while. You know, and it could be for reasons that you're not here because of technical issues or whatever. It could be a lot of different reasons. But let me say this to you all. I feel that as long as we follow the systems in place, and I agree, we're not moving as fast as we should. I speak about this in my broadcast. Some of the exact same things that Lawrence talked about, I talk about. And I even talk about, the last week, we talked about mindset, if you remember. We said that's the ruling, that's the one thing that controls everything, how we move. You know, I'm gonna say something to you all that y'all may not know. Talking about one world order was my second. I remember when Randy was talking about it in the Sinbun meeting, I said, oh gosh, I remember last week when I talked about broadcast, I wanted to talk about it here. But I had another thing that I want to talk about, and I'm not going to talk about it here. I'm going to save it for maybe next Monday, because it pertains to something that Lawrence stated. Why are we not moving as fast? And we talked about one of the reasons last week. We talked about is mindset, but it's more than that. It's some more things. So I'm not gonna continue this. Yes, you want to say something, Christine?
Stephen, I think also that's what I do every day. I look at the count in the dashboard. That's the first thing. And at night, I think it's not moving as fast, what Lauren said. I think it's not being recorded.
Mm-hmm. Well, you think that maybe tech support is not keeping up with the numbers, the membership?
Yes. I don't know. That's what I think, because just sometimes that I put in 2 or 3 people there and it didn't move at all for a whole day. Yes. I've been checking that. I don't know. Maybe
the number's not accurate. Maybe it's not an accurate number.
It's not accurate. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's not accurate. Because they're not. Members are not really true member until they're paid that. What? That 4 grains of gold. And,
exactly. Yeah. I'm talking about paid members. I'm talking about.
You got to be a paid member. So it very well could be a little bit more than that. All I know is that we got Mike raise his hand. We got somebody. Mike, you want to come in, sir?
Yeah, Steve, I want to contribute.
I can hear you.
My brother Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Well, for us in Nigeria, it's evening time. Well, I've been following all that has been said, and I believe that the contributions of everyone else, especially on the issue of humanism and the one world government, has helped to throw more light to exactly what the implications of those things are to everyone. But I want to particularly, zero in on what my brother in South Africa, just observed, Lawrence. And what I want to say is, let no one within the TBC community be afraid, be discouraged, or be shaken by that truthful observation that he made. Obviously, the numbers are not moving as fast as expected. But then, I want to point out something. There is one thing that admin has done, and it is the issue of cash flowing. So long as everyone gets to learn, understand, follow, and teach those 23 steps, so long as everyone goes through, Randy's cash flow school, or anyone else, I think a couple more leaders, are coming up with cash flow coaching, and get a grasp of how to cash flow. We will continue to move on. It doesn't matter how long it takes us to get to 1 billion. I know, we want it to We want to get there as fast as possible so that our economy can take off. But let us not also forget that the bottom line is, what do you have in your pocket as an individual? What are you doing with what you have in your wallet? Once that becomes effective to you, then we are moving on. So let us not be discouraged in any way at all. Let's keep moving. We will get to 1 billion someday. Thank you.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. That was so eloquently said. And I think, you know, I talked about financial, but I was talking about the changes that we're going to experience worldwide. But he said about cash flow, folks. Something I also talk about in my broadcast, and that is, I use Randy as a catalyst for my and then get this, and guess what? Guess what? There's another cash flow coach here too. Mr. Lawrence is a cash flow coach, folks. I mentioned him.
Yeah.
I mentioned Lawrence. I mentioned Randy, and I mentioned Dan Lux over in the Philippines. And I also mentioned Mbe Derek. And also Pritam. People, let me put it this way. If people are cash flowing, they are cash flow coaches, in my opinion. They're obviously following the 23-step system. And like he just said it, if you follow the 23 system, it is, and you at that 23rd step and you still not cash flowing, cash flow coaching is what you need. And this is what you should be saying to your people on your teams, people you're bringing into. If they're gotten through that system and don't understand, they need to be with the cash flow coach. Okay? So thank you so much for what you just said, sir. Thank you. You're right. I think if most people out there, and not just here, I'm talking about out here, if they're cash flowing, you'll probably see us grow faster, because that's what I'm hearing from a lot of the community. People want to know how to use what's in their wallet and use their community. How can we there are some people don't even know still how to do peer-to-peer transactions, folks. Can you believe that? It's right in the blog, step by step, and they still don't know how. Now, I believe that people are not even reading the blog. That's my issue with people. My personal issue. Because I know I do it religiously. I read it every day. Sometimes twice and 3 times a day. The same thing. And that's why, and only why, I understand the billion coin like I do. And some people are not going to be like you, like me. They're just not going to do it. But, however, there may be somebody out there in the community that's not in the billion coin that may do it, that may do what they need to do. Okay? All right, before I end it, one last person. Anybody else want to say anything before I end for today?
Yeah, just to add something.
Sure, sir.
Most of us, our wallets, TBC wallets, are fat and wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a problem there. There's no magic to make a move on those wallets. There's only one solution for everyone to see the movement in those wallets. You know which solution is that? Even if you can invite one person a week, you know that you'll be cash flowing, mm-hmm. right?
Mm-hmm.
$100 per week, it's quite a lot, isn't it? So let's invite people. Those people will be encouraged to do what? To purchase $100 worth of Kringle, mm-hmm. that will be mm-hmm. redeemed in our next redemption, mm-hmm. to become what? one full TBC coin.
Exactly.
So
You're
this
right.
presentation, it's so simple. We must invite people once a week, once a day, once a month, but that's when we're gonna see a change in the movement of the membership. And thank you.
Oh, he said it. Do you know that's a part of the cash flow coaching? For those, and listen, Randy is a great cash flow coach, but so is Lawrence Butana Medalecki. Please seek him out, Lawrence, too. He can show you exactly how it's done. Okay? You were right on. I tell you, we got some great people here, folks. Great information, Lawrence. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, folks. I'm going to bring this to a close now. I'd like to thank everyone here for this broadcasters meeting. Thank you, Randy, for all what you gave us today. Always valued. Thank you for everyone, Christina, and everybody that's here and move forward. Thank you all that spoke today.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you all. And make sure support the Simba's meetings tomorrow. Even if you can't understand them, support them.
Exactly.
Get in the chat. Let them know you're there. Okay? Y'all have a great day. Peace.
All right. Bye, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Stephen Kapisar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. James Razul.